Hey guys, what's going on? Come with you in another video, a day in the life of a social worker. Kind of did a little change of scene. March, March is social work month. So happy social work month to all the wonderful social workers out there. Truly appreciate every single one of you guys, right? We have a whole month to ourselves. Ain't that nice? Now, we had so much celebration at my job to celebrate Social Work Month. Of course, it's always a big thing. We have food. My manager has gifts, just something to show other social workers in the hospital, the outpatients that are connected to the hospital. We all get together and we eat together, have about an hour and a half that, all the managers are present and they provide us with and just a little gift to show appreciation. Now, with everything going on in the world, all that got canceled. So, so this social work month was a little different because we couldn't gather, and our celebration was set for March 20, I think it was the 25th. So, we kind of just had to, something short. My manager gave a speech, and then they provided us with our gift, and that was pretty much it. So, as you know, COVID-19, coronavirus, corona, whatever you want to call it, it is real. It is alive and well on planet Earth, right? So with that being said, a day in the life of social worker, right? So as you know, I said this before, I am a hospital social worker or medical social worker, whatever you want to call it. So with that being said, I do have to go to work and I am in a hospital. Right now, there's so much going on. There is fear, there is anxiety, there is overwhelming by whether it's the media, the news. I mean, we are getting emails. I can't even say if it's an hour a day, but there's so much emails because things are, of course, evolving, constantly changing. There is so much happening right now. So they want to make sure everyone, staff is kept up to date with the latest information because things are just constantly changing. I mean, I'm sure you guys know what's going on in the news. I'm sure you guys know about PPE equipment, as you know, our protective equipment. It's funny because I think about how, how I don't want to say we take those equipments for granted, but in a way, somebody's in isolation, you come in, you put your gown, you don't think about it. You go see the patient, you come back, you wash your hands, you take your gown off, your gloves off, we throw them out. And to see now we're in this pandemic that we're running out of these supplies that we always have, always have, always. And just to retract a little bit, I have been in the hospital since I was 21. Okay. And I am well over that. I'm in I don't even know if it's mid 30s anymore, but anyway, that's how long I've been in the hospital system. I worked in one hospital from 21 years old for about 15 years, and then I'm in a different hospital going on almost 4 years. So I have been in a hospital a long time. I started out as a nursing major. Don't know why, because I never really wanted to be a nurse, but anyway. And then I switched over to social work. And so I never, ever seen us run out of equipment, run out of anything, anything. So again, I trust God. What I say is I trust God, God's plan. Whatever he has will happen. We can't stop. We don't know what's going to happen. So you can drive yourself crazy. I always say, trust God, build your immune system. For hospital employees, we have always washed our hands. So this is nothing new. My hand is so dry and rough from washing my hands. We have always washed our hands, at least majority of us, right? So give or take few, or they use the hand sanitizers that are provided in the hospital, right? So with that being said, to sit here and see all this chaos that's going on, like, I can't believe it. In a way, I'm a little excited because I'm living in this decade. Like when my daughter that is 7, gonna be 8 later on this year, will learn about this or hear about this in history, I can say, yeah, I lived through that. Like, yeah, your mother was alive when this was happening, right? And I know right now, 2020, I always say 2020 is a year of change. So of course, everyone right now is like over 2020, right? We want to go back. But I always say everything happens for a reason. It really does. We never know what the reason is because, the one thing about a social worker is one thing you do in this time is provide a lot of emotional support. People are worried. I'm getting consults because people are losing their jobs. So they want to know, what are the resources that are out there? What are the financial assistance, which is another big one. People want to know, how am I going to pay my bills? Where am I going to live? How am I going to feed my children? So there's, I don't want to say there's a lot of consults, but there is a lot of consults regarding financial assistance, regarding housing. Right now, homelessness, it is the worst time to be homeless right now because there is nothing. Our shelters are closed. They're not taking anyone because they're trying to keep the people that they have already safe. So they don't want to take anyone from the outside. So it is a really hard time for, our homeless population, hard time for pretty much anyone and everyone. Mental health is on a rise. People are dealing with anxiety, situational depression, suicide rates are going to go up. And, as a social worker, my mind think about now that a lot of people are working from home. You think about that wife that is in this domestic violence situation that she probably looked forward to her husband going to work every day. Now he's home all day. You think about those kids that school was their way of escaping from whatever their home life was. I know some people don't think about that, but as a social worker, that crossed my mind because of course now I have to homeschool my child, but then I also thought about those kids that, for 8 hours, 9 hours, or whatever amount of time, they're at school. Now they're home all day. They have to deal with that substance abuse parent, that physical violence, that sexual violence. They have to deal with so much because now they're home. Everyone is home all day. Not every home is all happy and glory, and no, there are some home that individual going to work, that individual going to school is their escape route, is how they make it and how they survive whatever it is that's going on. Now everyone is together. And there are some people like me and my family. Me and my husband both work in hospitals, so we both got to go to work. So we just adjust our schedule and we rotate because my child also now has to be homeschooled. And, thank God we're able to, between the two of us, we have 2 days. He has 2 days, I have 2 days, and the one day we split half and half since he works later. And we make it work. Thank God for family support. And my parents are older, so of course I'm also mindful because me and my husband are in and out the hospital. I work 40 hours, so I'm in a hospital 5 days a week. And the days that I have to do my on-call on a weekend, that's 6 days a week. And my daughter has asthma. So, of course, I can't think about the fear, the anxiety. I can't get caught up in that. So, again, I just pray, I trust God, and I just do what I have to do to build my immune system and make sure I wash my hands. There's certain things that I have always practiced being in the hospital. So when I came home, I always took my clothes off immediately. Wash my hands, put them in a hamper. So now, of course, I do it. I know some people don't, okay, because I had some talks with some of my coworkers, and I'm like, yeah, take your clothes off. They were like, oh, you do that? Yes, I do that. I don't linger in my clothes. I'm walking around the hospital all day. I mean, in and out of patients' room, whether now it's COVID-19, but prior to that, we have other infections. The one thing about healthcare workers, I always say, we're resilient. Honestly, when this started, I was like, oh, okay, whatever, because we're resilient. We're hospital employees. We're exposed to so many things that to us, it's nothing. But then it started to get a little serious. I was like, oh, well, I need to go grocery shopping. I didn't have anything because I just need to go my regular scheduled grocery shopping. So, of course, that Monday, I started taking a little seriously and went grocery shopping. By Tuesday, things were flying off the shelf. I was like, what is going on? I felt like, do I need to go back to the store? But then I'm like, no, because in the name of Jesus, I plan to come out of my house. So with that being said, right? So one of the things that you can do as a social worker is listen, be there, emotional support. Our patients are going to need a lot of that. Some of our families need some emotional support, right? Everyone is dealing with anxiety and fear because it's the fear of the unknown, because this is changing. I'm not a medical provider, so I'm not going to give any medical information, but we see that it's changing. Before they said one thing, now it's something else. It's changing. They're learning. This is new to them, just like it's new to all of us. So everyone is just, right now, it's a guessing game, right? And again, working in a hospital, watching how, we're making rooms, we're getting ready for the worst. You have to get ready for the worst, especially the way this virus is spreading. The hardest thing is watching, of course, patients that are on hospice, people that are dying alone because their families, right now we have no visitors in the hospital. So that's hard on our patients, that they can't have their loved ones by their side. So then they kind of depend on you to kind of stand with them, whether you're the nurse or the social worker. So, and right now, again, hospitals everywhere have COVID-19 patients, right? Everywhere this is happening. But we come in, if we don't come into the rooms if we don't have to. Usually we can pick up the phone and kind of call you and do our assessment over the phone, or provide you with emotional support, because again, you want to limit the exposure. So you don't want the physical therapist going, the social worker going, the care coordinator going. It becomes too much because everyone is, we're all exposed. As long as you're around any employee, you're all exposed. So the one thing, living through a pandemic and working in, I said to my sister the other day, I said, it's a bad time to be a hospital employee, but then a good time because you're guaranteed a check, you have a job, but at the same time, you're on the front line. At the same time, you see what's going on and you feel sad for the families, sad for the patients, sad for your coworkers and your staff, so it's so much as a social worker, because sometimes, and we're here, but then, we're coming in, do our consults, not staying too much in the units, documenting, everybody's 6 feet apart. It's kind of hard to not be able to kind of pat your social worker in the back. And because, that's your social worker, like your team, like the nurses that we work with. Sometimes they come to us because we're not just the patients and the family social worker. We also provide support for the staff, believe it or not. A lot of them, just knowing that we're on the floor, knowing that we're present, just feel supportive. And they come and talk to us just as well. We're a family, Hospital employees, whether you get along or not, we are a family. I always say we're like siblings. We're going to fight. We're going to make up. We're going to move on. We're going to do whatever it is we need to do to provide a safe plan for that patient. And so we're a family. So with that being said, of course, there's pros and cons to working in a hospital. And this might be one con, but I always say, you do what you can do. I go to work every day. Friday, I just ended a 40-day work week. Next week is my 6-day work week. And in the name of Jesus, we're going to get through this. So I need everyone to do what it is that you need to do, right? 6 feet, social distancing, wash your hands. Do not go crazy. Buy what you need. Maybe buy a little extra, because I know some people, children are home, husbands are home, everybody's eating, right? Because I'm like, I get it. But check on, your friends, check on your families, check in with your friends and families who work in the hospital. See how they doing. Just call and say hi. FaceTime. We have so much technology nowadays. Technology is amazing because, like I said, I am now a homeschool teacher. But I'm learning. And again, think about our children who are not in school. They miss their friends. They miss their, teachers. So this is like our new norm for a little while. It's not forever. It's temporary, right? But in the meantime, mental health, I can't say enough. mindfulness, mental health, making sure we're okay. Because we have, in order for us to provide support and what the patients and the families need, we need to be okay. On that note, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.